Welcome back, diecast collectors. The weekly haul video is a couple days late, I know, and I apologize for that. As you can see, my review table is empty. I was expecting and hoping a big shipment of new Greenlight stuff to arrive, but due to a postal strike and possibly the weather, winter has come a little early here. It has not arrived, but the tracking information does show it is coming probably in the next few days. So a very big review video of new Greenlight stuff coming shortly. In the meantime, we're going to have to do a mystery box review to fill in the void of what I've purchased lately. And to be honest, I haven't done a lot of preparation this week. It's just been a really hectic week with work. So we're going to just pull an interesting old box of Hot Wheels or cars or something out from this shelf of cars that I don't normally see all that often. These haven't been on the display case. So what have we got here? Matchbox cars, it says. I doubt those are Matchbox cars because I've already done a big Matchbox review. Should be something interesting in this case. We're going to go through all the cars in this case. It appears to be a 48 car case. And let's see what we've got. Oh wow, got some cool stuff here. Some old vintage, looks like PlayArt for the most part. Some Siku and who knows what else. I don't think I've done a video on any of these cars before, so this is perfect. Stick around, enjoy the video. 48 vintage cars, all probably released, I would say the early to mid 1980s. I've also discovered that there is a few more brands in here. Kidco. I really should pull up some history on all these companies, and I may do so in a future video, but I don't have a lot of any of these cars. That's why they're all mixed together in the 48 car case, having multiple brands. These are not cars I seek out and collect. They're just kind of incidental cars I've come across through my years of collecting. So we're going to go through them all, but first let's just take an overview. So we've got all those cool, there's 24 cool vehicles there, and these old vintage Matchbox carrying cases are terrific for this type of casting, or company I should say. Got lots of assorted vehicles from around the world to look at. And even more down here, I see a lockup. I know I have more lockups. I'm not really sure what that's. Oh no, it's not a lockup. Interesting. Another Kidco. Looks like a lockup at first, but check out the patina on this old one. This old IROC Camaro. One of many of the old cars we're going to be looking at. Pretty cool. Now, as I said, I don't have a lot of information on specifics for these cars, but we'll just have some fun. We'll just look through them. We'll start with the top layer. Typically when I fill a case, I put the better cars on the top and the less interesting cars on the bottom. In this case, I'm not really sure that's what has happened, but let's go through some of these. Nice little bug. Volkswagen Bug. Who makes that? PlayArt Volkswagen, made in Hong Kong. Someone has deep fried the rear wheel, unfortunately. Probably doing a little bit of modeling experimental to simulate a flat tire. Good job. Not a good job. And this thing appears, I think this has appeared in one of my haul videos. This is a pretty cool little truck I picked up recently in the summertime at a Hot Wheels convention flea market thing. Managed to pick up by PlayArt. Clearly missing either a camper on the back and possibly some lights. And an old PlayArt Jeep. That's a really nice, actually, kind of World War II era Jeep. The shovels on the side. US Jeep. Pretty cool. Oh, and a big old van. Looks like a Chevy G20 by the looks of it. What do we have on the side? The sticker is quite deteriorated. Appears to be damage to the bumper. Custom van by PlayArt. Really, most of these cars I picked up, they were mixed in with like big bulk lots I bought over the years. Only a few of these I've found at flea markets and whatnot here in Canada. Not a common find. PlayArt has not been around for too many years in the diecast world, really. I don't have the history on hand, but there's another one, Fiat X19. But anyways, it's one of those companies that kind of has a fairly brief appearance in the diecast construction community. And this is a obtusely large Austin Mini by PlayArt, Austin Mini Cooper S. The scale on this thing is just horrendous. Definitely not anywhere near 1/64 scale. Such a small car, so large. But nonetheless, a really nice proportioned casting, I would say. And not too low on details either. Check out those chrome fender flares that make up a portion of the grille. A lot of detail in that car, actually, and it's quite heavy, I would add. What have we got here? Looks like a Mercedes-Benz. Missing an eyeball. 350 SEL by PlayArt. These are all PlayArt, I guess, in this one tray. That's a familiar car from the Matchbox. I've seen that in the Matchbox series, but what do they call this? Lamborghini Marzal. Pretty sure that might be a concept car. I may be wrong, but I don't think Lamborghini ever made a car that looked like that. Well, here's a nice one, Rolls-Royce. This is probably one of the more desirable cars in this collection. Appears to be missing a hubcap. Some playware. Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow. That's a pretty nice casting, actually. Really nice casting. I think we've got another one here. Yes, we do. This one's in gold. First one was in orange. Different wheels. These have the one-piece wheels versus the two-piece wheels on clearly an older version that we saw previously in orange. And these are all the same size Hot Wheels, basically. Just scales are all over the place, obviously, because we've got a bus here, a double-decker bus, and no scales on them, but double-decker bus. Pretty generic labeling. So that's 12 cars. That's 25% of what we're looking at today. And let's continue into this next top tray. This is a heavy little car. Pantera. I believe this is a recent find as well. PlayArt. Got some suspension. Opening, nope, I thought it had opening doors. No opening doors, but a nice little casting. I think I got that at the flea market as well, actually, of the summertime. And it looks like an Alfa Romeo. This one does have opening doors. And that is a, nope, it's a Lancia Fulvia 1600. Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing this right. These are not cars you see in Canada, so I don't recognize them entirely. What have we got here? Another PlayArt. Well, that's a mouthful. Alpine Renault A310 V6. Another flea market find from the summer. I recognize that. One of my previous hauls. This one I specifically sought out. I really like this car. Not too often I seek out a PlayArt car, but this Doesn't even have any information on it. Kidco, made in Mexico. Mexico. Looks like a big old Dodge Coronet or something. Two-door. Could be a Cutlass. I'm not really sure. I remember buying that one separately on an eBay lot. And here's one of the cars I've already picked up. Datsun 280Z by Kidco, 1980. These are old cars. I mean, they're going on, in some cases, nearly 40 years old, so pretty cool. Here we have a Pontiac Firebird or Trans Am. Opening hood. Not the greatest details, but pretty cool little car. They're certainly not extremely authentic. They're nothing like a green light, obviously, but these were toys of the 1980s. I mean, look at the terrible windshield on this 58 Corvette. That's absurd. But what isn't absurd is that they actually made a little opening trunk with a crudely die-cast spare tire. Better get that. I think those are the Siku. We'll get this. This looks to be maybe the last PlayArt of the bunch. Another 50s Corvette. Opening hood. Extremely simplistic engine. Very cheaply built. Minimal suspension, even though it was incorporated into the chassis. This one's pretty rough. Looks like a Chevy Chevette. Missing the front grille. Made by Dinky Toys. Opening rear hatch. How about that? Pretty cool. I mean, these are not cars you're going to find every day. They're unique. I very much appreciate all of the cars I'm showing you, just in case it seems like I'm coming off that I don't. I just don't know much about them, and I don't think that they're highly collectible. But they are unique and interesting. And I'm certain that they all have a very rich history, company and car-wise. There's CQ. Look at this thing. A little Volkswagen. Very realistic wheels on these cars. Made in Germany, West Germany. They've even got like the dimensions on them. How fast it can go. 150 kilometers per hour. That is a lot of information. Do they all have that? 170 kilometers an hour. 4-cylinder, 1460 cubic centimeter engine. 85, I'm assuming, horsepower. 5,800 U per minute. A lot of information on these cars, I just realized. Well, that was a Dinky. Got one more here in this tray. Not nearly the same information. This was in a recent haul video as well. You may recognize the Ford Taunus with the flip gate. Pretty cool truck. 24 cars left to look at in this random case unboxing. Cars I haven't looked at in a long time. This appears to be another Kidco. Yes, it is. Opening hood, we've got the convertible version with the absurd windshield, and a version, the coupe version, the coupe. Here's a well played with Kidco Corvette. Opening doors. Minor damage. Turbo. 1981. Yet another Pontiac Firebird. Instead of an opening hood, we've got opening doors on this one. A crudely constructed interior. Very weak plastic base. Made in Macau. Still, interesting little castings, all Hot Wheels scale, obviously. And worthwhile to add to your collection due to the obscurity of them. Looks like we have a Chevy Camaro T-top with an opening hood. Another extremely basic engine. Kidco, 1979. So I would say that these cars are all around 40 years old. I mean, these copyrights, they do appear to be copyrights, and there isn't a lot of variance in the colors of the models. Nice that they have some details like these hoods opening, but I mean, you can see that engine basically wasn't a lot of time spent on detailing it. Split window Corvette, another opening hood. Doesn't look anywhere near like even half an engine. It's like half an engine was made and then they're like, oh, put a hood in there. No need for the rest of the engine. I mean, why even bother at that point? Clearly, like, these were meant to be toys, and collector value is probably fairly low as far as retail value goes. I'm not sure that there's a huge following of these cars, but nonetheless quite interesting. That one at least has 75% of its engine. Kidco, 1979. No information on the car. That is a 70s Corvette. Looks like a racing model. Lots of Corvettes. They really like their Corvettes. Another split window. That's the same as the one we just saw with the red on the hood. Minor variation there. Interestingly, this one has clear windows and it does seem to have an interior by the looks of it. Whereas this one does not. Just a basic hollow shell. Probably a later version. This is probably the original version. It's definitely slightly heavier. And what have we got here? What is this? Thunderbird. 79. Nice opening trunk on that one. Spare tire attached to it. T-Bird, sorry. T-Bird, Thunderbird, whatever. I guess that's the same. What do we got here? Really beat up 65-ish convertible Mustang. Missing a trunk. Another very poorly cast item underneath. 20% of a die-cast spare tire. Got two of those. This one still has a trunk lid, I should say, and the windshield. Seen some play though, and possibly a paint job. Looks to be around a 57 Chevy convertible. Not too many die-cast models in the scale featuring opening trunks. It is kind of cool that they do have that. Rather unique, I would say. 1979. Pretty short run I'm seeing as far as Kidco goes. And the last 12 vehicles. What have we got here? Well, there's another one of those Corvettes from Kidco with half an engine, no hood. Really, really play-worn. Lots of Corvettes. I'm not really sure if that's the majority of the castings or if it's just so happens as to what I have in my collection. These are in terrible condition. What's this? This can't be a Kidco. Looks like a Tonka, actually. It looks like one of the Tonka trucks. No, PlayArt. Resembles those Tonka trucks in a much larger scale that we've seen. This is heavy. This could be a great paperweight. Solid die cast. Now this is pretty cool. Lots of detail in here. I'm guessing that's a PlayArt. You can tell it's a PlayArt because they're heavy. Scout car, made in Hong Kong. That's really cool, actually. The Kidco cars are extremely light and cheaply built. The Siku in this collection appear to be the most high quality, but the PlayArt do have a lot going for them. Here's an amphibious military vehicle by PlayArt. Amphibian Jeep. None of these roll particularly well. Mind you, they have been well played with. Yet another. This one has a bit of a windshield. Clearly they came with a windshield, but that's missing. At least they still have the steering wheels. And there's another one of those. Looks like that tow truck, except this is a fire truck version. Another Mustang, 65-ish Mustang. No opening parts on this one. Who makes it? PlayArt. Just for reference, we've got a Kidco and a PlayArt here. Very, very similar casting. Exactly the same dimensions. Nearly the same interiors. Probably a little bit of history there between the two companies. And we looked at that one already. What was that? A Kidco. Tough wheels, they call them. I'd say it's pretty tough. Look at it. It's survived all these years. Clearly spent a few years in the sandbox. Police. This is a PlayArt. I recognize this van. No real details, mind you, but a heavy little all-metal piece. Very European looking. And the final two vehicles to round it out are two more versions of this van. Ambulance. PlayArt ambulances. Ambulances. Well, that's the video for this week. I will definitely have another video for you next week. And I surely hope it is all the new Greenlight stuff I'm highly anticipating to show and share with you. Happy hunting, everyone. Happy collecting.